The flu is unpredictable and can be serious. Who needs to be vaccinated against the flu? You. Get a flu vaccine.
The flu season has been unusually mild so far this year, in part because temperatures have been unseasonably warm across the country. But with temperatures falling and holiday celebrations and travel bringing Americans together this past week, health experts predict flu cases to skyrocket in coming weeks. How bad is it likely to get? And what can you do to reduce your risk of catching the flu? Well, joining us with some of those answers about the flu and the vaccine is Newsmax health editor Nick Tate. Nick, I appreciate you being here. I'm going to be that guy. I've never gotten a flu shot. Okay. I'm not dissuading anybody else, but I've never gotten one. By the way, you can get Nick's book. It's called Da Vinci's Baby Boomer Survival Guide. And get out there and get it right now. It's a great read. All right, so am I in the minority, and should I think about starting to get a flu shot?
Only about 20% of people, less than half, it's a little more than 20%, actually get a flu shot every year, in part because they feel like, well, it's just the flu, it's not a big deal. But here's the truth. The flu kills between 20 and 30,000 people a year, 200,000 hospitalizations every year, and a flu vaccine, according to the CDC and many mainstream conventional experts, is really the best thing you can do to prevent the flu. The truth is, though, it's not a fail-safe. It's only about 60 to 70% effective in terms of protection every year. And sometimes, like last year, we have a disaster where the flu vaccine did very, very little to protect people. So that kind of skepticism about is it really worth it, I think you have a lot of company there.
All right, so we didn't have a lot of flu so far, but we are expecting to see the episodes jump in January and February. Why?
That's right. Well, typically the holidays, people get together, so they're in cold quarters. In cold temperatures, you're in a house, you're in places where you're interacting, hugging, and kissing people. The flu spreads very, very easily. The second reason that happens is because as the colder temperatures drive people indoors, you spend a lot less time getting fresh air. That's how cold and flu viruses spread. The past couple years, we've seen the flu virus actually peak in December, the last 3 years. But this year, they're expecting that it's not really going to hit hard until January or maybe even February, which is partly why you're seeing the new pitches from CDC to get your flu shot, because it's not too late. But of course, it's not the only thing you can do.
Well, you said 60 or 70%, but last year it kind of wasn't so great. About 23% effective. Why? And will this year's be better?
Well, that's the question.
Yeah.
What happens every year is flu scientists guess, basically, which flu strains are going to be circulating and common in North America based on what we see in other places in the world. And last year, they guessed, and then between the time the flu vaccine was ordered and the time the flu season got here, one of those dominant strains mutated, and it was basically became immune to the vaccine, so there was no protection. That happens from time to time, and as a result, 3 out of 4 people who got that flu shot, who were exposed to that particular strain of virus, which was the most common one, were not protected. That's why we saw high levels of seniors who got the flu last year. A lot of children got the flu last year. The CDC is saying they made a better guess this year, but of course that remains to be seen.
I've got about 20 seconds. What else can you do quickly?
Well, if you're traveling, you want to be careful about washing your hands. If you're taking a plane, flying somewhere, keep your hands off of the seat back tray tables, belt buckles. Hugging and kissing, limit your contact with people in close quarters who may be sick. And you know, the best advice is if you're not feeling well yourself, don't travel, don't put yourself in social situations. Save those friends and family from the flu and the germs you may have.
Da Vinci's Baby Boomer Survival Guide. Thanks a lot, Nick. We appreciate you. That's going to do it for us for now. If you want to weigh in, just go online. You can do so there as always. Really glad to be in for JD. Thanks for joining us for Newsmax Prime. Have a great night.